Ooh, we have Salim. What's that? How are you, buddy? Is everything okay? Can you hear this voice? I can hear my own voice for some reason, but I think it's if everyone hears one voice, I think it's fine. All right. Hopefully I don't scream too much. Bound to happen. Amanda. Oh, should I say that? Masked sound. I think that's more appropriate, huh? Yes, we are early, but thank goodness I was early because I had to do when I go live, I had to name everything. Botak pahu, exactly. It wasn't straightforward. It wasn't too straightforward. I had to name things here and there. It's not secret. Okay, very good. Somehow we have 6 people in already. I'm so excited. You can see me well, right? Hey. Dame. Okay, phone's got to be on silent. I do hope I don't scream too much because very likely that I would. If you all know me, that's very normal. Lots of screaming. Let me just adjust. Hey, where are the fruits? Wait, who's watching? Is it Peng Sin? Peng Sin, is that you? You're softer than my cat. I mean, I would speak louder later for sure, but now still malu, you know, shy. Hey, oh my goodness, I forgot your Faggy. Should I say that? Faggy? That's not your name, is it? So excited to get this going. Yeah. Something is burning. No. That's my air freshener, so that my room won't smell like ass. You know, it's a common problem when you stay in your room too much. I mean, you won't smell it, but when you go outside for like 2 minutes and then you get back in your room and you're like, shit, I've been stewing in my own filth for the past maybe 4 to 5 hours. It's insane. Oh, we have some. Oh, thank you guys for being here. I mean, feel free to speak to one another. It's so cool. This is just lots of relaxing. Nothing too. Oh my goodness, yes, I remember your name now, Fabian. Yes. Welcome to the stream, Fabian. And Alexander Zapata. Yes. I don't think they would come for that. It's too small. What fragrance? ILIYA famous. No. I'm just normal human being. Gamer sweat. I'm actually it's actually vanilla. I think it's vanilla. Yes, vanilla. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. No, really. I mean, that smoke thing saved my life, I think, because it's normal to stay in a room for hours and hours, and then if you don't air it, of course, I do air it like maybe twice a day. I usually open my windows, so twice a day I would open it up full till the end, just to air it because it can get pretty musky. It's bad. That humidifier is the one. Yeah, Shopee. I mean, shout out to Shopee, I guess. Sponsor me. Yeah, I got it from Shopee. It's an For those who don't know, Shopee is an app like Amazon, but it's only in this region. Yeah, Singapore, Malaysia. That's where we get all the stuff for cheap prices and very fast delivery. It's almost 8, but I'm just gonna chill first and give everyone a chance to come in. And maybe we'll wait for 10 minutes. So how are you guys doing? How's Switzerland, Fabian? I heard from some Switzerland friends it's doing okay, but cases are rising, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And Alexander, okay, do forgive me because this is probably the first time I've seen your name. Bastian! Bastian is here! Okay, I'm gonna do a shout out for Bastian. I think, am I saying your name correctly? Alexander, thank you. Thank you, really appreciate it. I really am grateful for all those comments. I don't reply them a lot because I tend to forget. But anyway, I want to talk about Bastian. This guy is my number one fan. If I ever have a number one fan, this is his name. Bastian is simply amazing. He's been following my work for many years. Is also the first one to be on my Patreon. That's incredible, and the one that's paying the highest. I'm truly grateful for you, Bastian. It's really grateful for you, and I hope all the sneak peeks. Bastian was actually probably the first one to listen to everything outside of myself and maybe my fiance. Oh yes, the missus. Oh. Gabriel, nice to meet you. CA, am I? Yes, Bastian is amazing. He is the real MVP. He's been following me. There are some cases when he changed his profile picture to the album art, and when I saw it, I'm like, no, keep that a secret. But because he got the artwork for I think in May, he got all the demos, every single one of them, first. Without fail, I would share it. Every time I have a demo, I would share it on the Patreon, and even he gave some comments on how to improve the track. So he is amazing. Yes. Oh no, Stasha is a different category. So she doesn't have to pay anything to listen to stuff. By the way, Stasha, mask is Amanda. You remember Amanda? Amanda from all the composers meetup. But yeah, Bastian. No worries. Don't feel sorry or anything. It's totally cool. I actually don't mind it, especially coming from you. Whatever you do, I would like. Oh, you can do whatever you want, Bastian. It's cool. And anyway, I just want to know. Oh, Aisha, is that you? Hello, Aisha. Hey, thanks for being here. I know you told me that you can't make it, but I really appreciate it. If you have to leave, you can leave, no problem. This is not very strict, so yeah. Yay. And yes, I want to know, CA, who are you? Do we know each other? If you do, that would be awesome. And sorry if I don't recognize you. CA. I have a feeling that you've been commenting a lot on my YouTube channel and maybe from Epic Music VN's channel, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, I'm not sure. So do enlighten me. I would love to know you. I'm getting some meds at pharmacy. You have my food. Angelo, hey. Dude, no worries, man. Hey, I hope everything's okay. Do whatever you need. Stay healthy, stay awesome. Another crazy composer, Angelo. He submitted an album for one of the publishers that I work with. And it's a guitar. I think it's a guitar album. I listened to too many music from that publisher. I can't really remember. Yes, it's the cinematic rock one. Incredible one. I totally will always remember anyone who sends in guitar stuff. Make it sucker for it. Go by Angel. Nice to meet you, Angel. Yeah, thank you so much for being here. I do recognize you from all the comments on Epic Music VN. And when they are streaming live, I think my most recent memory of you is probably the anniversary video where they hit 1 million sub and you were there throughout the entire time. That's incredible. Nice to meet you. Thank you so much for being here. Exactly. Yes. I do recognize my memory is not too bad. It means it doesn't remember anything without guitar. Don't be a troll, Amanda. No, I do remember. There's certain ones that stood out. I mean, back then it was May to June. We received like 10 albums, and I had to check. Each album is 10 to 15 tracks, and I had to check every single one of them. Hair still rending. Don't be yes. Oh, no worries, Angel. No worries. You Salim Hamle. It is awesome. We have 10 people. I think the hair has been rendering for 2 years now. Still, yeah. I've catch a train as I can be here now. Otherwise, I'll be. Look at that, my friends. Look at how committed Bastian is to be here. I mean, probably not because of me, but he is there for everywhere. And I'm actually preparing a very special gift for you, Bastian. I would say it in front of everybody. I'm thinking of how to do it at the moment, and I really, really want to do it. So I will speak with you privately. Well, there's an expression in Singapore. We would say cannot tahan. I cannot take it. Bastian, you're really awesome. Yes, no. Really, Bastian, I'm actually thinking of doing something for you. But yeah, I will speak to you in private about that. It's a lot of logistics, I think, but it's okay. I'll just tell everyone, hey, my number one fan will get something from me. For all the support all these years, man. I still remember there was one time he even uploaded the Fire Savers artwork that was 2017, and he put that as his wallpaper. I'm like, wow, this guy is amazing. Yeah, he's really, really awesome. You should be. Oh yes, maybe the lack of hair increases your ability to take in inspiration. Well, definitely I can feel the wind on the back of my head. This one not inspiration. This one angin akmar. Paralysis wind. I think it's called. Loving the energy. We need a name. Oh, Bastian, you heard everything already. I don't know if I told you guys my favorite track from the album. Yeah, everyone has to wait until October for that. Easier to feel breathing down. Hey, actually, it's true. I get really flustered with deadlines, but usually I avoid it because I submit stuff before the deadline. Usually, most of the stuff. Uh, and so far, it has been working out pretty well. Anyways, oh, it's still yeah. Let's give it 4 minutes. The wait is so long. Okay, okay. I'm actually gonna wait for another 4 minutes for people to come in, and then we will start. Okay, you know what? Let me give you preview. How about that? Let's make myself smaller. Oops. I messed it up. This is gonna be a pretty long. By the way, Angel, if you haven't heard the track, I would really invite you to listen to the track. It's already out, and today we're actually gonna go through what happens in the track as much as possible if I can. The anticipation, yes. I know it's. I'm just giving a little bit more time because on the event it said that I think 30 people is coming. Now we have a third of it. The track is already out. So today, I mean, just to go give a run through what's a basic overview what's going to happen. So yes, this is actually the makings of Hinomaru, my latest single. I thought it would be fun to do, and a lot of people asked me to do this kind of live stream. It's interesting. Never done it before. I have to. Sasha! Hey, nice. Thanks for dropping by, Sasha. And Gabriel, yeah, it's all template. Anyway, what was I was saying? So this track will go through the makings of Hinomaru, the story behind it, the inspiration, and I think most importantly, some of the composers ask, what sounds do you use? How do you compose? What those kind of things. And we're gonna try and go through each individual sections. As you can see, it's kind of messy. So I'll try to make sense of this. You colored your track for no. Oh my god, look at that. Bastian even knows that Sasha is the vocalist of Glassshot. Instantly, he knows. Sasha, just to let you know, Bastian is my greatest fan. Number one. Zak! Nice of you to be here. Thank you so much. 8 p.m. bro. It's time to relax and sleep for tomorrow. But you're here. Obviously, maybe it's not so obvious for everybody, Bastian. Yeah. So, as I was saying, we're gonna the template. We're gonna go through the template, what sounds I use. Yeah, some mixing techniques. Hopefully, we'll cover that. I did some practice, like twice. I practiced talking to myself, preparing for the live stream, and hopefully we will get it done in like by an hour. So prepare your horses. Doing my school assignment while listening to you. So cute. Concentrate on your work, okay? Yes. Okay, so it's 8:10. So without further ado, let's go through. So I was doing an introduction on what's going to happen with in the stream. So I mentioned, yes, yeah, template, story, inspiration. Okay, mixing. Yes, we're going to talk a bit about mixing because I don't mix my tracks that much. I don't master it. I send it over to another mastering engineer, and then hopefully if there's time, we will talk about how I planned on marketing this track or my album. So yes. So yeah, let this go. Welcome to the stream, guys. So my voice is okay. I would just want to give a heads up before I play the track. It could be pretty loud. I did a sound check already and it was okay, but you don't want to freak people out. So I would start straight away then. Hinomaru. Okay. So the track of this track, Hinomaru, is actually my 13th track of the album. There's 14 tracks in total, and this one is particularly special to me, simply because it contains elements of Japanese anime and oriental sort of feel that I really like, and it's just to kind of encapsulate my love and my passion for animes. I really, really wanted to have a sort of Asian, very Asian influenced track on my album, just to kind of tell you that I'm Asian, if that makes sense. So the story behind it, there's actually no, story behind the track. It is just, it's just something that I really wanted to do and really wanted to showcase, because back in 2020, I did a whole album together with my good friend Gregory Tan, yes, with a publisher called Wukong. The guy behind Wukong is Kevin Wu. I don't know if it's here. So he told us that he wanted to do a very epic Asian orchestral hybrid sort of thing for trailers. And I found out that when doing all those tracks, I turned out pretty damn good at it. Oh, sorry. It seems that I really enjoyed writing those kind of stuff, and I was pretty good at it, thankfully. And I thought, okay, this gives me an idea for one of the tracks for my album, and that's what happened with Hinomaru. With the album with Wukong, there was some limitations. I couldn't write too long, and I have to make it even slightly more trailerish than I like. So for Hinomaru, I just went, boom, go crazy. No limitations, and just creativity and sweat and lack of sleep. So that's actually the story behind Hinomaru, why I wanted to do it. So the title, why is it called Hinomaru? It means circle of the sun, or rather the Japanese flag. So make what you wish of how you want to associate it. I don't have any association with the Japanese flag, except for the fact that it is Asian. So there's no story behind it, actually, to be honest. But when actually composing the track itself, the melody is actually something really special. It took me almost a week to formalize the melody in my head. I will speak more about the melody when we actually go through the track. So that's basically it. The story of Hinomaru. So the inspiration for Hinomaru is, of course, the whole theme of the album Ignis is fire, and what fire means to me. It's all about passion. It has to represent passion, and kind of angry, not too angry, but you just wish your resolve, I would say, to represent my resolve in writing music. So each single one of the tracks that you listen to, you would kind of have that fire feeling. That makes sense. So it's kind of like my representation of what passion and fire and intensity is. So I am really, really excited to share with you the album. So that's basically it, why I wrote Hinomaru. I think everyone is more interested in what's going on. Love that aspect. Okay, let me just look at that. You did it on Apple, right? Yes, it's a Apple iMac. Marketing is so important. It is very, very important. Getting pretty good success so far. What does Hinomaru means? Forgot your good friend's last name. Outline of the sun. Something like that, yes. Making this kind of music is a God-given talent. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Good evening. What flute do you use? Okay, I'll answer that for sure. Chris, I don't use... it's actually a live recorded flute by a very, very talented and amazing flautist. And he's from Singapore. His name is Colin Yong. So it's actually live flutes. That's why it sounds really, really good. No samples could actually make a very good woodwind sound. So always try to get it recorded live. if you can, for woodwinds. Yeah. So yes, let's go into the track, shall we? So how I usually write my songs or write my track is most of the time people start off with doing a whole skeleton. You know, when you have all the chords and the melody all laid out. For me, it's very different. How I do my track is usually I work it part by part. So I would start, like for example, I would start with this part, and as long as this section isn't perfectly at how I wanted it to be, I will not probably not move on. I would make that section as what I hear in my head, and then I'll move to the next part, and then I would go here, and I'll work all these things, all this place, all this whole section at one go. Okay. So before we go into that, let's talk about the sample libraries. So as you can see, my template has been in the making for 5 to 6 years now. This is kind of it's close to its final form. So at the top, you can see here all these instruments here are usually instruments that I want to prioritize and that I want to highlight in the song. So let's say if I have guitars, I would put it on top. If I have vocals, I would always put at the top. If I have piano, I would always have it at the top. Like for example, this song has guzheng, of a Chinese instrument. I'll put that at the top. Flutes, I'll put it at the top. So it's always easy when I replay, when I'm working with the percussions and I'm done and I want to replay the song, I would just scroll up and I would make sure the ones that I want to highlight is actually the loudest. And yeah, by saying that, I'm also telling you that when I work from each part of the song, I mix on the go. So it's very rare when I finish the song and I have to mix it again. It's not really the case for this song actually. Yeah. So yes, that is all the solo instruments we have. Of course, before I got the flutes recorded, I used a sample to kind of show Colin what I want to what I want to write, or what I want him to sing, him to play, and for that I used the Jade Ethnic Orchestra from Stressov sampling. Xiao, it's free, you can get it. It's a really good sample library. This one, it's all Chinese instruments or instruments from the Far East, I would say. And then for the guzheng, I bought this. It's a Plecta series, a very good guzheng. I think probably is the best out there. I have several others. The one from Jade isn't that great. This one is. Oh, it has delay. Sorry. Yeah, this one is really good. Okay, so as I mentioned, this is all the solo instruments, all the instruments that I want to highlight. Below that, I have Brahms. Okay, this Brahms is actually not really Brahms. It's more Brahms synth. So if I want any synth sounds, this is where I put it. And then we have pads, and of course you can see I always copy paste, but I changed the instruments. Usually I would use Omnisphere. Omnisphere is pretty cool. Very expensive though. And each of these ones are pads. Oops. Yeah, it tends to happen. And then next section we have the strings. I separate short strings from the long strings. Short strings meaning spiccatos, staccatos, I will always split them, because for epic music, they are usually two different parts, and you can't really think. I mean, you can think them as a classical orchestra, but if you want to do epic, that classical orchestra has to multiply by like 5 or something. So, okay, let me see. Sorry, y'all, I have to go. Have fun in church. Yeah. Thanks for joining. It's really a pleasure to have you and to meet you, Angel. Thank you so much for your time. So what sample libraries do I use? I use LASS. What's the full name? I can't remember. But LASS to me is probably the driest and the one with the most rawest sound that you can get for epic music or for orchestra. I really like it that how it really cuts through the mix. That's why I use it. And I will usually have violin ones, violin twos, viola, cello, bass. And if you see here, these are marcatos. I like to separate them as well. I don't like to use key switches, by the way. I know I'm lazy, but that's how I roll apparently. And then of course cello. It's all. Oh, this one is different. Okay, so I worked on my template a very long time. I can't remember what instrument sometimes or what sample library I used. So if you're asking me to analyze my tracks, I find it very difficult because I've never done that before, and everything just kind of flows very naturally already. So yes, so apparently this one is Metropolis Arc 1. Well, the reason why I use this is because it's very deep. Can't see the plugin window. Oh, that's right. Let me see. That's actually a very good point. Display capture. Yes, I'll add it in. What's happening? Okay. ちょっと待ってください。I have to add it. I have to add a new window capture. Oh, there you go. So, Logic Pro. Okay, let me see. Good catch, thanks for that. Display capture. Windows capture, Logic Pro. Okay, I don't think I can show it. Unfortunately, I can't. It's like an extra thing, secret thing. It's like an extra thing. So anyway, I would just say the names. I wouldn't really show what's the sample. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so let's just move on. I usually have also repeating violins. I have this because it gives a really different sound if you want to work fast, because sometimes if you use LASS, you're not really precise with the sound. Okay, so that one was Berlin strings. Let's go to legato strings. Message retracted. Okay, so for legato strings, I use Berlin strings. Those to me is actually the best strings for epic music, for me at least. Some composers said that cinematic studio strings are the best. It's cheap, cinematic studio strings, yes, but I would mix them both. So I use Berlin strings and cinematic studio strings. I stream on what's happening. It's okay, guys. I think it's okay if you don't see it, right? Let me just try it again. Yeah, I mean, the next thing I can do is actually show the whole screen, but I don't want to do that because of secrets. I don't want you to see my windows. Okay, so strings again. I would say violin ones. Yeah, so that's actually the Berlin sound plus cinematic studio strings. Normally when I do strings, I don't quantize them. That's trick number one. Never ever quantize your orchestra, because those little Salim, you're right. Berlin strings are very good for classical. That's why it pops out really nicely for epic music. There's trailer strings, but those are too dry. It sits on a mix better. I mean, the sample library is called trailer strings, so it sits on a mix so much better. It's dry, it's very bright, it really cuts through the mix, but it lacks that depth and warmth that I really like on strings. So that's why I mix two strings together, Berlin strings and Cinematic Studio strings. Cinematic Studio strings for its, I really like that low mids that it has, and for Berlin strings I like the highs. It's so sweet, and also it has that slur that I really like. I'll try to show you. You hear that slur? I really like that for Berlin strings, and I use that quite a lot. Okay, so that's strings. So for processing power, yes, there's a lot of processing power. That's why you need a good computer, for sure. So for horns, the main one I use is trailer brass. I told you before, Salim, and I'm gonna say it again. This is the only library that has that huge epic trailer brass sound I have. I haven't tried Junkie XL's sample library, the brass. I didn't try that. It sounds like it's really, really good, and it has more of a dynamic range that you can do really mellow stuff as well. But for trailer brass, that's all I use for 2 years now. All the brass is actually trailer brass, and it is insane. And I layer it with Cinebrass. So when you play them together, woohoo, which I'm going to show you later. And then we have the low brass. The low brass, it has to be thick, right? I have from trailer brass as well the trailer horde, and these two sample offer the trailer trombones from trailer brass as well, and then the horn sustain from cinematic from Metropolis Arc 1. These are normally what I use for this. They're playing the same exact stuff. It's just they're playing the root notes. So it gives like kind of good foundation to build whatever you want on top of it. And then I would layer it with Brahms, which I will show you later as well. The Brahms I'm using Keep Forest. Oh, what's this? Wait, there's a problem. Yeah, I'm using Brahms from Keep Forest. Really insane Brahms. Can I show you? Yeah, this one. Trailer loop. Oh wait, I can't show you. You can't see. Okay, I'm sorry. So it's from the Keep Forest. I have all three. What is it called? Dragon. See, I really can't remember the sounds that I use, to be very frank with you. Yes, Devastator, Atlantica, and Dragon, all from Creep Forest. I use only these sounds. For me, I don't really pay attention to sounds. My style of composing is always about the orchestration more than what sounds I use. That's why I don't get any trailer placements. But my forte is usually doing more orchestral stuff and focusing a lot on the melody. Now come the big one, the very, very big one, percussions. I think everyone is, most people when they listen to my track, they always ask, what do you use for your drums? Because it sounds very different. It doesn't sound like any drums they've heard before. And I'm very, very proud of that. And it's not, it's coming from composers as well. So when I told them actually I use 7 sounds to get my drum sound, and they asked, how is it possible? Libraries as well, there's programs one less than, yes, you're right. So they would ask, what sounds do you use? I have 7 sounds for the percussions, and you can see what they play is all copy pasted, but what I want to get is the sound. And the first sample library I use is Action Strike from Native Instruments, or 8DO. I can't remember the brands, I'm sorry. It's called Action Strikes. Okay. And the second one is also Action Strikes, but played differently. Wait, like where's the note? Ah, there you go. So the first one, this one is playing this sound, and the second one is playing this sound. When you mix them together, it sounds amazing. I also have Metropolis Arc, the Epic Percussion Hits. Oops, wrong one. This one is another sound from Damage 2. Oh, I remember this. Burn a hole in my wallet. This Taiko. There's another low toms from Albion 1. Yeah. The only sound I use from Albion 1 Spitfire. See? So if you realize, it's actually playing the same thing, and if you do listen to it properly, when I do percussions, I want the percussion to sound thick from every from a very audio on the audio spectrum. I want it to sound completely full on the EQ. So I have sounds that focuses on the low frequencies. I have sounds focuses on more of the highs, that kack sound. The low mids, the mids, the high, the mids, the high mids, all these things. So if you want to create an epic percussion, you have to focus on all these ingredients to make one really, really nice sound. And people also ask me, do you mix these layers? How do you mix? So I'll show you right now. Most importantly, for layering, you can see this, right? Okay, for layering, especially percussions, you want to you want to low cut everything, because it can get pretty boomy. So the low frequencies, the ones that you want to highlight, you don't cut it. The ones that is you can get away with without, you cut it. So when they play together, you can hear it like that. So you can hear it's very deep, as well as it cuts through the mix with the mid highs, the high mids as well. So that is the trick to get really, really awesome percussion sounds. And if you are, do you compress it? If you ask me, I do, but not as much. It's all in the plugins, which I will show you later for sure. And percussions also too many stuff to go through, guys. I also have this percussion. So that is the snare. So what sounds do I use for the snare? It's Damage 2. Most of them are Damage 2. Another one is Hans Zimmer Taiko, as Hans Zimmer percussions from Spitfire. Really expensive ones. So when you play them together, like I said, same deal. Only minor EQs. So this is basically the drums. So that's basically the drums for Hinomaru. Now you know. And then I have a third section of percussion. This third section is all the little spices that are embellishments that happen that gives the track a little bit more pizzazz. I'll play it here. So it's all snares and all the sticks, you know, when you play them together. Woo. Yes. So that's what you do, and it's really amazing. Stick off so many years. How am I gonna ask how much damage been? How much has the damage been in all these samples? It's a lot of damage, Gabriel. If you want to know, it's bloody expensive, but I'm pretty happy that I could afford them these days. So I'm very, 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 very pleased. Very, very. God, I love this. Oh, thank you. So yes, those are the drums. That's how I do drums, and there's actually not much to do with drums actually. For me, I don't mess with the sounds as much. Some people might say you need to EQ more, but for me, I just mess with the volume, that's all, and some EQs here and there. But most importantly is the low cuts. Okay, the low cuts are very, very important. You can see, yeah, I cut a lot, and the ones that I did not cut is the main ones. So it's, you know, yeah, and it has to do, everything has to do with the volume. So the sound that I really want to feature most is this one. That's why it's really loud, and the rest are all, you know, -3, -7. Yeah, look at that, -11. It's all in how you layer the volume of the sounds. So that is the trick for getting really epic sounds. I don't know anyone who does this. I think most people do this as well. That's how I know it. Yeah, but no, that's not the end of the game. So Percussions, you know, it's epic, right? There's so many parts to an epic song. Of course, before I do that, of course we have the cymbals. Simple cymbals and gongs. When every first beat. So I mean, I can play it for you. Yeah, simple. Yeah, those cymbals are just, you know, just to bring things together. And now now is the part where I think everybody would love. I have an extra part of percussions. Okay, so first of all, I'll talk about the boom. The boom is simple. It's just a boom. Yes, it's just a boom. Nothing too fancy. For me, I love to play with wave files for boom. Boom, boom, boom. Very deep, low boom. Whoop. Yeah, very simple. I've used this one boom for, I think, 40 over tracks already. It's been this boom for many, many years, and I've never changed it. Keep it simple, guys. Keep it simple. And then, oh yeah, the part above this is all the risers. The risers, the downers, the booms. I don't really focus too much on the risers, but for the sake of you guys, I would just say I use risers from Keep Forest as well. I'm not a sound designer, or nor do I pay attention to sounds that much. So whatever works for the track, I'll use it. There's no, like, how do you just choose your sounds? Do you specifically choose sounds for a track? No, I don't. So it's just, if it works, it works for me. Okay, so next part. I think everyone wants to know this. These are taiko rolls. Is to further accentuate the first beat or that punch in epic music. Okay, it's just a waveform of taiko rolls. Nothing too fancy. I can't remember what sounds I use for this, to be honest, because again, I've used this for maybe 3 to 4 years already. I can't remember where I got it. If I'm not mistaken, it's one of the hybrid tools. I think it's hybrid tools 2. They have a taiko roll plugin or sample library. That's how I got that sound, and it's been there ever since. Never changed. If you hear all my tracks now, you know it's the same damn sound all the time. And then next we have the best thing in the world, which is trailer hits. Yes. Trailer hits. It's a staple in epic music, trailer hits. So this one also further accentuates the first beat of every part. Okay, what sounds do I use? I use Keep Forest again. I think you can see here the name. And then I have, I also use AVA. You can search AVA Instinct. I think that is what this is. And this one is I can't remember this one. I think it's Keep Forest as well. I'm sorry. I know I should know this to tell you guys what sounds I use. But I really don't remember because it's been using it for years. I don't think about it. I think this is Keep Forest as well. Keep Forest acoustic hits. There you go. Yeah. So let me just play you the whole section, okay, with the trailer hits and the percussions. This is what everybody wants to know, my secret sauce, if you will. Let's play it. Quite shook, right? We have a saying in Singapore, shook, huh? Yes, that is essentially what I do. You can hear that first beat, and you know that the phrase is starting. Boom! Every single sound, it just reveals your secrets. Yes. Maybe that boom is your signature. I think it is. There's a whole conversation going on. I love it. That's percussion. I spent a lot of time on the percussions to get that sound. It took, honestly, I think it took maybe 3 to 4 years to actually find that sound that I want, and I finally got it. And you can hear actually all my tracks, the evolution of the percussions. Only recently that I found this sound, and I keep using it all the time. And it's been 30, 40, 50 tracks since I've been using that sound. It still hasn't. I'm still not bored of it. Yeah. Okay, so for Hinomaru, there's actually distortion guitar. I did not record it. Let me play it solo for you. Okay, it sounds very bad. I know. Coming from as a guitarist, when I listen to this, I'm like, no, this can't be it. But the thing is why I stuck with this sample library. I think I used Metropolis Arc for the guitars, and as well as Triller guitars. I think it's a sample library from Audio Imperia. You can check that out. It sounds very thin, very like, coming from a rock guitarist. I want that, chugging sound. But that's why I thought recording a guitar will not fit, because Hinomaru, I only need it to be sort of a driving force at the bottom of the track, if that makes sense. If I do record guitars, I think I would want that guitar to be in the forefront, because hey, I played this. I want it to sound the loudest. That was exactly why I did not record it, because I don't want the guitars to be a prominent part of the song. That's why I stuck with. I mean, sorry about that. I mean, if you solo it, it sounds pretty horrible, to be honest. But if you play it, the whole thing. It sounds okay. It sounds so good. It kind of glues everything together. It's not so prominent. It's not so soft, but you can feel that. It kind of drives everything. Oh, sorry, I get goosebumps every time I talk about it. So what is this? Epic toms. Oh, I forgot to rename this. Basically, these ones are shouts. Okay. Yeah. Yes, those are the sounds. So what I use 8DO Epic toms, and those shouts were in the toms. They have a separate what was that plugin for the shouts. So I just used that, and it makes sense. And before I keep forgetting this part. Before that, for the guitar parts, it's usually where I would put all the Brahms. As you can see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different sounds for Brahms. Each of them has their own library, I think. I don't want to go into it too much because there's none in this track. Okay, so choirs. This is another thing that a lot of composers ask, what do I use for the choirs? So number one, they are not named correctly, so forgive me for that. So the first choir I use is actually from Jade Ethnic Orchestra. It is a Mongolian choir. That's the first layer. Okay, we're not done yet. The second layer, this one is called I named it Children because this one is very special. But it's not normal Western children's choir. This is actually my secret sauce. This children's choir, it's called Taiwan Children's Choir. It's a sample library from a small little developer in Taiwan, and it's not known at all. And when I heard this sample library, I'm like, I want that so much. And when you go to the website to buy it, it's all in Chinese. It's all it's all in Chinese. I couldn't read any of them, so I had help from a friend, Kevin. Yes, and he helped me to buy it. And it's very cheap. It's like $20, $30, $40, and it gives so much flavor to my choir, which I would share a snippet. Whew. And that's not the end of my choirs. I have another one. It's called Rodope from Srezov sampling as well. Rodope is a Bulgarian choir. It sounds very funny on its own. That's the point. No. And then I also use Metropolis Arc choirs, normal female choirs. Normal female choirs. And then male choirs. Put them all together. Play it with the whole track. How sweet is that? Sorry, I'm kind of praising myself, but yeah, it took a while to get that sound, and I'm very proud to show you how I get that sound. It's a lot of experimenting, and again after that, so back to it. After these choirs, I usually have the legatos and the marcatos on one side, and I have the shorts on another part. I don't use shorts in this track, so we'll skip it. And then below that we have all the bass. Very simple. It's just pulsing bass. Yep, very boring stuff. So that's it. That's what I use to create Hinomaru. My template and the sounds that I use, and everything plays together. If you ask me whether I think of every sound on when I do the track, no, I don't do that. And usually I would call it this track. This track was made through many happy accidents. All I have was a melody, and that was all I started with, that melody. Okay, so it's 40 minutes, and next section I want to go through is actually the detailed walkthrough of the song itself. And I would tell you maybe my process on how I wrote it, how I layer it, and how I think about it. We kind of did the samples, the templates a bit too long, so I would try to go a little bit faster for the second one. Let's take a 5 minutes break. I kind of need to go to the toilet, so I'll see you back soon. Maybe we'll come back to it at 9, and when I'll start again. Toilet break. Okay, I am back. Quick one, nothing too fancy. So far, everything's good. You guys enjoy or learn anything new? The bass is not boring. Yes, my fiance plays the bass, but composing is very boring. It's just playing the root chords, root notes, and it's yeah. I normally have the chords already, so I'll just give it maybe 3 minutes and I'll go again. So how is it so far? Am I doing okay? This is weird for me. I didn't catch the name of the Taiwan choir. It's called Paiwan Children's Choir. Paiwan Children Sample Library. Just search Paiwan. It's Paiwan. Paiwan, and then it should be the first on. Yeah, it should be the first on Google. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. I don't see the link to buy it anymore. Maybe. Thanks, Gabriel. Really, really am glad to have you here. One thing that I wanted to do differently with my music and compared to the other composers out there, because the main way to make money with Epic Music is actually to get trailer placements, but I don't. Amanda, yes, Paiwan Children Sample Library. Just search it on Google, or I can send you the link later if you like. So what I was saying, yeah, the main way to make money out of Epic Music is to create trailer tracks, trailer music, and you get placements on the trailers. But personally, I do not like composing trailer tracks because of the limitations. It's totally understandable why they want it to be that way. You can't have that much melody in a trailer music song. You can't have many variations of chords. It needs to gradually build up, and it's usually, depending on the publisher, it's usually very sound design heavy. So as I mentioned just now, I don't pay too much attention on sounds. I pay a lot of more attention on orchestration, and to get placements with orchestra stuff for trailers is very, very difficult, and normally people won't get any unless it's for TV or something. So I prefer melodies, and I prefer to experiment with orchestration. And the only way that maybe I can make money out of it is through streaming, and hopefully some placements at least. Yes, so it's kind of like saying to all the trailer music composers that I am not a trailer music composer. I am more of an epic music composer, epic cinematic stuff, epic orchestra, that sort of zone, and I want to be known as that instead of a trailer music composer. Just sharing with you. All know it's all in Chinese. I have the mantra. Yes, correct. It's all in Chinese, unfortunately, but it's so good. Yet it has its limitations, Amanda. It's not so easy to use, because from, like, for example, from C and then to the next octave C, they're singing one syllable, so you can't really, and then when you go to the next octave, it's another syllable, so you kind of have to work with in between that for one syllable. I don't really know how to explain, but it's not so plug and play. You kind of have to be creative in how you write and how you layer it with your choirs. Hey Dominic, no, it's okay. It's all good. I'm really glad you can be here. We actually just finished talking about my template and the sounds that I use to create the track. Yeah, and next we will go through the parts of the songs, and I will tell you what I think of when I am composing it. Gabriel. No man, pleasure is mine too, like an insight of your compositional process, and I find it really amazing how people can put so much stuff together, epic stuff together, and still sound good as a whole. Thank you so much. If anybody wants to know, Gabriel is a fantastic piano player, and he is also a composer, if I'm not mistaken. He did a live show, I think a week back, and it was so mesmerizing. I heard, I didn't watch it. I'm sorry, Gabriel. I actually missed it, and he is probably one of the more talented people that I know from Singapore. Really, really, he's my junior from school actually, and he's insane. He's really, really great, a great person all around, and even he's a great musician, but an even better person, I would say. It's so cool to ask Tasha. She agrees. Hey, sorry, yeah. Shout out lah, shout out. Okay, so let's go into the track itself. So for Hinomaru, what happens when I'm composing it? Okay, the first inspiration for Hinomaru was the melody. So that was what I heard in my head when I wanted to do a track for my album, and that inspiration came quite suddenly, I would say. So when I had that intention of writing an Asian track for my album, the first thing that came into my mind was that melody, and I ran with it. I was super excited when I got the melody because it stuck in my brain for I think a week before I actually got it down and wrote it. Normally that's my style of composing. I would hear the melody and how I want the track to sound like in my head, and I would compose in my brain for before actually going to the DAW. That's why when I actually do start working on it, I work on it part by part. So like, the first part, the first section, and then the second section, and the third section, the fourth section. All these sections are actually, I already hear it in my head on how I want the whole track to sound like. And I told myself I don't want to limit myself with all the rules that comes with normal library music. And because this is supposed to be purely ILIYA ZAKI, purely me, so I just went wild. So the first part of the track, I wanted to highlight that this song is actually something tender, something sweet, something emotional. So that's why we have just the piano and the flute. That was really nice. It was a really nice performance by Colin, the flautist, and he really captured what I wanted. Something tender, something very weak, fragile. That's basically the whole basis of the track, I would say. Something so fragile could be really, really powerful. It's not always going to be like that. Things are going to get better, sort of thing, if you want me to analyze the track. So before that, let me just share with you without the recorded flute, just a little bit. So not nice lah. That's why I wanted to have a real flute. I searched on Facebook asking people, do anyone know a good flautist, and Colin's name came out, and I can't be more happy to have him. It's amazing. Okay, so that's the first part. Simple, just booms, piano, flute, just to kind of intro. Okay, so it was on a slower tempo, is 115, and then it moves up to oh my goodness, what's the official name for 3/4? The time signature changed from a normal 4/4 to a 3/4, because I wanted that mood, that feeling, that it's kind of like, you know, it's driving. So I changed it to 4/4, and then I introduced the melody. Yes, so then I introduce what is this song. It's the melody and the chord progression. I added the guzheng, as you can hear. So when the guzheng came in with the piano, it gives, okay, this is going to be an Asian track. Just laying the groundworks. Love the melody. I do too. Odd meter. Do I have a bonus point? Odd meter, yes, thank you. Yeah. Can you show and play the individual sections so we can hear how they fit one another, and show MIDI too if possible? Thank you for asking that. I would do that. So this is the piano. Okay. It is actually 3 different sounds. Why do I use 3 different sounds? Because one sound isn't enough. When you layer different piano sounds together, it kind of fills up the audio spectrum a little bit, and I like doing that because it makes your piano sound different from anybody else's. So anybody could use the same sample library that I'm using right now. It's the Frozen piano. It's actually from Native Instruments. When you buy the whole complete 12 or 10 or 11, I forgot which one I have. I think now it's 13. So this Frozen piano, everyone could use it, right? So what you want to do to make it a little bit different, so people can't exactly copy it, is to layer another sample library on top of it. So when you layer it, it sounds very different. It sounds unique. The second piano patch that I use is actually Una Corda. It's from Complete, and the third one is the giant piano. I think everyone knows about this. It's a very old sample library. When you put it together, it has different aspects of the sound, the sound from the library itself mixing together, and that's what makes it so unique, to my personal opinion. People can try to emulate it, but it's not the same. And then when you have the guzheng, there you go. When you add the guzheng, it says flute here, I'm sorry. But it's actually the guzheng. And then, of course, the guzheng is playing the melody and also a counter melody. So for the instruments that you are going to record, or that you're going to have it on your track, you gotta know how it's played. So for guzheng, you gotta understand how they make the sounds that they do, and that's why when I do the tremolo, it's how a real guzheng player would play it. So that little tremolo, it's what makes the guzheng a unique instrument, and how you extract the whole feel. It would be much better if I have a guzheng player, but for this track, to find a real guzheng player, it's a bit difficult, because not because they're hard to find, it's because I don't know how to say what I want them to play. So I thought doing it on a sample library is better. So then when we put the flutes together, oops. So again, with the flute and the piano, it doesn't have that. It's not unique enough. That's why put a guzheng. Yeah. Oh, and I have strings as well. See, I don't really know what I'm doing. When I'm composing, I'm gonna tell you this to everybody. When I'm composing, I actually, yes, I do have what I want to hear in my head, but how I come up with it, and what I put down, I have no idea how I put those down. So the strings are just playing long strings, sustained strings. If you wanna solo it, just gradual sustains. Yeah, put it all together and that's what you have. Okay, the track title is Japanese, but instrument Chinese. Was there a reason for that? It's okay, you are ILIYA, everything you do is no. Okay, so traditionally, if you want to do a Japanese one, you have to use the koto or the the shamisen. Wait, that's a different instruments, right? Because for Japanese instrument, there's a reason for that actually. For Japanese instruments, there isn't a good sample library out there yet. People are starting to do great Chinese instruments as a sample library. For example, Gregory Tan. Greg is doing a sample library. He's based in Singapore. You be sure to check this out. He did a pipa pipa instrument sample library, and I think personally it's the best Chinese sample library I've heard or played with ever. So I will plug it in. From which library? The guzheng. The guzheng is from this Plectra series. Let me just type it here. Plectra series. I'll type it so everyone could see. Series 5. So this is the guzheng that I'm using. So just Google it. I've tried several guzheng libraries, like the one from Jade, and another one I think I can't remember what's the other one. I bought 2 sample libraries for guzheng, but this one is the best in terms of playability and how they translate the sound over, and to me it's the best. So you can check it out. Yeah, so that's why I use Chinese instrument. It gets the feel, even though the instrument isn't technically Japanese. Okay, now we're gonna go to the next part. Okay. I'll stop there, sorry. If not, I will go crazy. So for this section, I wanted to do a sort of another intro to say that, okay, the track is happening. what you heard before was just a tender, fragile part of what I wanted to write, and then now it's getting into the real juicy stuff. So that's why we started with some short staccatos, short spiccatos. I hope you guys can see that. Dun, 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 dun. So to me, I find it really cool. How did I write this, you ask? I have no idea. I heard in my head the short strings for the violins, this part, and then I wanted to get more thickness for the part, so I began putting some violas. So that's the viola, and then we add the cello. The cello is kind of going dun 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 dun. It's going down as compared to the violins that it's going up dun 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 dun. So that's kind of like a dichotomy, whatever. And then we have the bass. The bass is just doing the root chord. That's how I did this track. So this part, and then we added the brass. And hear how thick that brass is. Remember I mentioned I have 5 sounds playing the root chord for the brass? That's the result. A little bit of phasing there. This is the sound I wanted, and then of course we have the percussions. Yes, Bastion, there's a lot of layers. Oh, so this part, the little embellishments, the percussions are playing exactly what the violins are playing. Kind of a layer on the percussion, and yeah, of course we have the gongs just to highlight the parts, and booms and trailer shorts. So that was the whole section, and the guzheng is playing just the first beat of every chord. If you want to solo this, so I'll be honest, this is what a normal guzheng player would never ever play this in their life. But I just want that sound, that krakang sound, that it's so good when you play it together. But to ask a guzheng player to play this, he or she would look at me and like, what? I personally think, yeah. So it's not normal to play this. Okay, and then I would reintroduce the melody, which is the next part. Let me just answer your question, Amanda. Yes, I do high pass it a lot, but you can hear it's not that muddy, right? So you kind of have to play with the volume. It's a lot to do with mixing the volume rather than cutting. So for the percussions, like I told you, most of them has some sort of a, look at that, like a low cut, right? So it doesn't sound that muddy. And then for that thick brass, I actually do have a low cut. So it's very important. So mud comes from anything below 120. That's where you have to be really careful. But you also need an instrument to cover that frequency as well. That's why I have the boom. Thanks for that question. That's an awesome question. So with the boom actually handles that part. If you cut too much, it would sound very there's no love into it. So when you have the boom, that's how it sounds very full. Okay, let's move on. Oh, thank you, Gabriel. That is, I would say, the main chunk of the track. The melody, the chord progression, just at its full glory, right? No, not its full glory yet. It's still in the adolescent phase. It's not yet fully grown. I kept the shorts. The shorts are just doing the groundwork there. I muted this because it was too much. Okay, so if I unmute this, it might be too much, right? It sounds great on its own. But that's when I find out that it's too muddy. Not too muddy, it's just too messy. You can't even hear the violin spiccatos, so better just mute it. And then we have the strings. This is what the strings are playing. The main melody. Okay, so for string players, violin string players, it sounds kind of horrible when you solo it. Don't you think so? But that's because personally I'm not a violin player. I do know how it's supposed to sound like, but sometimes when you have the epic song as a whole, it needs to sound great as a whole, not as individual parts. So if you do play solo, right, it doesn't sound that great. Okay, so it sounds kind of out of tune or little bit out of time, and you can see I actually did not quantize it at all, because if I do quantize it, it will sound kind of horrible. So especially for violin long strings, I would never ever quantize my strings. I would play it by hand as long until it is perfect sounding, and then I would be happy with it. So, but when you put them all together, it doesn't sound bad. It sounds like it needs to sound great as a whole song instead of individually. If you catch my if you understand that, because it needs to, how do I say this? For string libraries, it's kind of difficult to make it sound as close to an orchestra. It takes a lot of work and a lot of ears. Unfortunately, I do not have that ears, even though I've done this quite a long time. But I do know how it needs to sound like in an epic song. So that's why I play it until I got it right, until it sounds great, and then I would just leave it. Everything is 127, you can hear, because the sample library itself, it has that little sharp attack for this particular sample library. So that's what I wanted to get out of the sound. Okay, yeah, force support, correct. The main theme is a bit strange. That's right. It's only great if you listen to it as a whole, because I don't know, it's just how the sample libraries works for me. Other people could probably make it better, but not for me. Then you have the brass. The brass is just playing something to kind of support the melody. Okay, and then we have the huge ass drums that we go through just now. Okay, that's the full-blown drums. Okay, so that's, I think we went through it just now already. So yes, after this section, so what is an epic music sound without a break? It can't. It's a kind of a rule to always have some sort of a break in between sections for epic music, so that it has some sort of dynamic to it. So that's why it's really important to have. So all this section, this smallest section is just short strings and guzheng, and of course the riser and the downer. Excuse me. And then we get to the part where I love. I'll play this whole section for you. So that is one section that I focused on doing before I go to the next part. Okay, again, the melody is highlighted again. It's on the trailer horn, on the horns. To keep things more interesting, you always need to focus on different instruments playing different things in each different at different points. So first we have the violins playing the melody, right? So we have the brass playing the melody instead of the strings. So you gotta kind of keep it varied to keep it interesting. Yes, and of course the short strings are playing exactly what the guzheng is playing. Here the guzheng and the violin are playing the same thing. It kind of makes it a little bit different, I would say. Just to give that little layer. It's not just simply normal string spiccatos. So that's very, very important to be different, to give little treats here and there for the listeners. And then, of course, the second half of that section. Again, as you can see, I don't quantize the strings. As long it needs to sound perfectly. I need to play it as perfect as I can. As you can see, actually, they're just playing octaves. They're just layers of different sample libraries to receive a thicker sound. So if I do just play you one, it sounds okay. It sounds great. But if you add in more layers, an octave below, it's thicker, and then you add even more layers to it. It sounds very different already. So like I said, if you want your sounds to be unique, you have to layer it. Definitely you have to layer it. But as I said, you gotta be tasteful with it. Okay, so the brass now. One tip, one trick for brass. You always need to think like how a brass player would play. They need to take a breath. That's number one trick when you're doing epic music for trailer brass. For normal classical composers, they do have that already in mind. But for us, epic music, when we are working with sample libraries, it's very easy to forget that these people need to breathe. It's a common problem. But to make things even more authentic and more natural, you definitely have to think of the breath. Breathe. Yes, it's a variation of the same melody. This is where also the guitar comes in, and of course the bass. Okay, and then we will go to the next part. So I will start playing here and go to the end. Yes, you caught it, Bastian. So when things keep changing, but you still want the whole flow of the track to constantly build in epicness, constantly build in intensity. So as I mentioned, we change the instruments. The main instruments playing the melody is the brass, and then at this point, this is to introduce a new section for the song. It's kind of like if you compare it with other trailer tracks, if you do listen to them, it's always usually the same motif and maybe slightly variation, but they normally do not change the chord progression at all. But I don't want to do that. I want to introduce something new, and so that it is interesting to listen to and it doesn't sound repetitive. Most trailer tracks out there will sound repetitive, but totally understandable. That's what they need to be for that sort of direction that they're going. For epic music, for me, I like to vary things a lot, and you can hear it. When the choir comes in, it's just massive, absolutely massive, and it keeps things very, very interesting, very different. I would say this is almost the climax part. Every epic song will have a climax part, but this is not the climax yet. When I am writing this song, I know at the end of the song I want it to go even bigger. But so I want to do, for this section, I don't want it to go too big, but I want it to be big as well, if that makes sense. Okay, so probably I won't go through. Okay, you know what? I would go through it for sure. I will show you the choirs, the strings, and the brass together. So most of the time, they're always doubling each other. You know, when they're playing a melody or a counter melody, they're always doubling they're always doubling themselves. So like the violins are playing the double. The violins are doubling the choirs actually, not the brass. Well, the brass is doing something else. The brass is doing the counter melody. So we don't really only focus on the melody. You kind of need a counter melody sometimes to make things a little bit more interesting, to keep the drive going. I don't know the definition of a counter melody. I just thought it sounded great. So I played it by hand as well when I'm recording it. I don't know what else to tell you. Yeah, so the brass is doing that thing. Okay. It's doing something totally different than the strings and the choirs. All right. As I show, as I said just now, the choirs and the strings. Playing the exact same thing, and then of course the guitars and everything are just driving the song. It's driving the main driving force for the song, the guitars, the percussion, and then we get to the next section. Here's a little story about this section. Normally, there wouldn't be a quiet part after a sort of epic part. This normally does not happen, but I do it all the time. It's very natural to me. So when I do it, when I do songs for my publishers, especially Epic Score, I like to do this to Epic Score, and where I have a slow section in the song, and he would be, no, ILIYA, you should stop doing a quiet part after the epic part. We always want it to go higher and higher and higher. So if you listen to all my Epic Score stuff, I think there's only one song that has a quiet part, but usually I was forced to delete this entire section for another track. But for my album, it's my album, so so it's a quiet part, only strings, focusing a lot on the gudzang as well. And then the flute. Built higher and higher. Okay, I'll get carried away. Yes, Bastian is right. Atanoa has it as well. So most of my own stuff, I do usually have some sort of like a bridge. When you have a pop song, there's a bridge where it does not have anything much to do with the main melody or the chorus or the verse. It's a totally separate section of the track to kind of break the mood a little bit, or it could break the mood, or it could be introduced as a different part of the song. It just keeps things more interesting, and I usually go with something more sweeter and something more tender. So I'll show you the orchestra only. Orchestra's playing tremolo. Sorry, the violins are playing tremolo. Sounds weird solo. Yes, Boston knows everything. So yes, it's kind of weird. My DAW right now at the moment is playing it a little bit weirdly. I don't know whether you guys hear it. Sometimes the violins would kind of be out of time. Wonder why. Anyways, so then we come to the last part, the craziest part. As you can see, I had a lot of layers actually this part, but I took a lot out. Okay, the last section of the song, I even took a lot of the choir layers because it was a little bit too much, you know what I mean? So what we have is something, yeah, I'll talk about it later. Most important, yes, correct. Yes. So the last part is obviously the most epic part. It needs to go out with a big, big bang. Okay. The secret sauce to this part is actually the short strings. You hear that hybrid spiccato? I layered it with the string spiccatos, so it will sound like this. That's how you keep things fresh. You know, I could simply put just a violin spiccato there, but to make things more interesting, I add in a synth to it, a very sharp, fast synth, and it works out pretty well. So this section actually, it's just full-blown melody, the melody that I spoke about. The violins are playing it, the brass is playing it. As you can, actually, there's less instruments playing here, but there are a lot more layers playing the same thing. So when you want to go epic, it doesn't mean you have to add on too much, any more layers. It's all about the orchestration. So what the orchestration does is focus on the melody, and that's it. That's how I achieve such a huge sound for the ending. It's just doubling it. It sounds so big. And if you add in the choirs is not playing the melody. It's playing more of the chord tones. So, important tip, guys, if you want to be very epic, you have to layer the part of the song which you want to highlight. So if this, I wanted to highlight the melody, so the brass, everything is playing at a high register, you layer it as much as you can on top for playing that melody itself. Okay, you don't introduce other elements to kind of mess up the melody. So very little counter melody, very little melodic things to kind of take away attention from the main melody. So that's why it's all powerful on the melody itself. If that makes sense. Am I explaining it correctly? So yes, that is the whole song for Hinomaru, and I probably missed out quite a few things. This gone on a bit too long, to be honest. I couldn't hear you, Ma, having hit the shadow for a little bit. No worries. Yes, correct. You're right. So I think I've missed out on several things, to be honest, and because I was trying to speak faster and go through as much as I can, but it seems like 2 hours is not enough. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the walkthrough of this wood bread. I hope you enjoyed the walkthrough so far, and maybe it gives you some insight on how I actually did the track itself. Okay, let's take. I'm pretty sure everyone wants to know. I think some people are here for the marketing. I will talk about the marketing soon. Give me 5 minutes. Let's take a 5 minutes break. Yeah, let's take a 5 minutes break, and I will talk to you about the marketing soon. I really have to go to the toilet. Okay. Ah, thank you, Gabriel. You are so nice to join and sit here for 2 hours. There's a lot more tips and tricks that I wanted to show actually. Um, I might have missed several parts, so if you have any questions, please feel free to ask, and I will try my best to answer them as detailed as I can. And yeah, so I guess we're going to talk about marketing. Oh, thank you so much, guys. Shafika, hey, thank you for being here. I'm just going to make my face a little bit bigger because we're going to talk now more than actually show the music. Oh, actually, I forgot a big part. Mixing. Okay, I would talk about it very briefly. Okay, very briefly, because there's not much secret to it actually. So I'll just tell you very shortly of how I mix it. As I said before, I mix the track as I go each section. As you can see, the automation, it's only a lot of drawing volume lines, nothing too fancy. Okay, it's when you're writing orchestral stuff, it's all about how you automate the volume, and also how you play it actually. As you can see, everything has its own color. I don't really draw MIDI notes. I always play it by hand. I never ever not play it by hand when I'm composing. That's simply because of mixing, and because for sample libraries, if you play it harder, it would come out louder, right? Of course. And then at certain points, you want it to be slower, kind of sit back in the mix a bit. So that's why it's a bit softer. As you can see, even the brass, everything, it's all played by hand. That is essentially how I mix certain parts. Okay, and then what I do with plugins, very simple. I only recommend you to focus on 3 samples, 3 plugins for mixing. Okay, I learned this from one of the mixing engineer that I learned from, Austin, and he showed me this trick, and it is, but you guys can't see the plugin, damn it. Okay, so look at the bottom, look at the left here. Okay, these 3 plugins. Okay, these 3 plugins. OTT, this is a free plugin. It is kind of it is like a compressor. It's a multi-band compressor, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, I will show you the percussion. Okay, so OTT, remember this. If I were to turn it off, it kind of compress the whole sound and make it more even, and so it compresses all the frequencies, so it doesn't have any spikes. So it kind of makes it like a brick, so it would sound constantly the same. And but the sound difference is how you play the sample library itself. The second plugin is called Soothe 2 by Oak Sound. Yeah, how do you pronounce that? OEK Sound. Okay, so what this does is when I solo the percussions, what okay, you can't really hear it with this, so I will try it on the brass. This is the OTT. I don't know if you can hear it, but it basically just makes it even for the OTT. So for Soothe, what Soothe does is it takes away harmonics. So if you're playing A, for example, the note A, and usually you'd have the E note coming out, the harmonics, right? So from a mix perspective, it will affect the entire sound of the mix. So you want everything to be as clean as possible. So that's why when you use Soothe, it kind of cleans it up for you. So let's say it's unfortunate you guys you can't see my settings for the plugin. So basically what I did for the Soothe is I set it to remove the enharmonics from the 350 hertz area and also the 5000 hertz area. So what that does is it cleans up the audio quite a lot. So do consider getting it. Okay, it's called Oik Sound Soothe 2. It is pretty expensive. Okay, and then the other one was OTT. And next is Decapitator by Sound Toys. This one is also, once you remove the harmonics, right, you want to sort of saturate them a bit. So you kind of boost up the frequencies that you want to have and make it as sweet as possible. So that's what the Decapitator does. So if you notice, if I take out all the plugins, it sounds very muddy and it lacked life. Lacks a lot of life and yeah, sweetness. I don't know how to explain it. But if you put them together, if you turn it on, yes, so the basic principle of mixing is to just make things as clean as possible in each different instruments. So how I mix is I put every instrument's type into a bus. So short strings will be into one bus, one aux track for other people. I call it a bus. And then the long strings will be into one bus. The French horn will be into one bus, and so on and so forth. So I separate it in terms of their instrument groups, and that's all I mix, to be honest. To make things as clean as possible, as clear as possible, not too much rogue frequencies coming out. And yeah, that's all actually on mixing. And after I learn and do all these tricks, my mix became so much better. It's just simple tricks. You don't have to be nitpicky for it to sound good, but it is highly encouraged to be nitpicky. If you know what to cut, you know what to boost, that's great. But for normal composers like us, we are not mixers. We are composers. We just have to compose tracks and then mix it as good as possible. And that's it. That's your job. And that's why there's the whole industry called mixing engineers, a whole career called of people in careers, built out a career out of it, being mixing engineers and mastering engineers. We should not put too much time on those, if possible. I mean, if you have the money to afford a mixing engineer. So what we have to do as composers is to just do our best with what we have, and yeah, as long as it sounds good, that's it. Okay. Yes. So that's the mixing part. I wish I could go into much more detail, but yes. I mean, if you have any questions, please ask. Okay. It did come out for a blink and disappeared. Oh my goodness. Yes. Soothe is actually it's a hidden tool that a lot of producers use. If you want to know how they mix so cleanly, Soothe is actually a very important part on how to mix cleanly. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about marketing then. Shall we? What's happening? Okay, I'll just make myself a little bit bigger so that we can talk. Marketing, alright, okay. I think a lot of people want to know more about the marketing and how I did with marketing. I can actually show you. I don't mind showing you. Okay, so for Epic Music, Marketing Epic Music is very different. If you go through courses on how to market your stuff, they would usually cater, they would usually cater marketing for pop music and maybe R&B, lo-fi, house music, and all those stuff. Those are things that are easier to market because the industry for that is super huge. For Epic Music is very niche. I would say only maybe a couple million people regularly listens to it, maybe more, but definitely it's not to the size of pop music when probably a billion people listens to it. So it is a good thing and a bad thing. So for pop music, if you want to market it, there's so much noise you have to cut through. It's much more difficult to market actually pop music, because number one, you have to be really good. Number two, you have to kind of know how to navigate your way and cut out all the noise. But for Epic Music, for people like us, the industry and the market is the market is actually very small, but it has a potential, I would call it a potential market of something even bigger, because Epic Music is music that everybody has heard before, for sure. Number 100%. Almost everybody has heard it through movies, through trailers, through advertisements, through ads, to commercials. They've heard it before, but they don't know who wrote it, what is it, and they don't actually actively find out. And those that do are all the fans of Epic Music, right? So how do we market to a niche industry like that? To be very frank, I still don't know how to do it, but I do have some tips and some insights. So how I marketed Hinomaru to date, to date, Hinomaru has on Spotify for close to 5,000 streams already in just 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks, 5,000 streams. It's a big number that I am very grateful for. And how I achieved that number is through Facebook ads. Okay, so Facebook ads and IG ads. There's a lot of courses that teaches how to do this, but mostly their medium is usually pop and R&B and stuff, not Epic Music, because we have a smaller market, right? So that's how I normally market things. If you are a composer who does, you kind of for marketing, you kind of need to know who you sound like. So for Epic Music, for me, who I sound like, the closest one would be, or the most famous one would be Hans Zimmer. So you have to target audience with your ads to people who listens to Hans Zimmer. It's as simple as that. So it is a much smaller industry. It's actually easier to do, and as compared to, I didn't listen to Spotify, probably made 10. Thank you, Bastian. Yes, it's still supporting me anyway. Yes, so you kind of have to follow what Hans Zimmer does, follow what Thomas Bergerson does. But people like them, they do not need to do much marketing because their name is already strong, right? But for people like us who has no listeners or not much presence, we kind of have to make a noise somehow, and that's how I did it, through Facebook ads. I don't know how many people have heard it or seen the ads. Maybe some, yeah. So it's a whole thing that I need to show you, that it's easier seen than talked about. It's all of how you set your ads. You have to target the right people, and the right people lies in movie fans, game fans, and movie fans and game fans. You have to target these people. You have to find them somehow, because they love Epic Music, but they don't know where to source for it, how to find it. They do know film scores, they do know game scores, but there's actually, you need to kind of tell them that, hey, there's actually a whole industry called Epic Music, and that's what your ads need to say. It's a whole total 1 hour that we can talk about what you need to do for your ads. So that's one. So you do targeted ads? Yes, I do target ads for sure. Epic movie soundtrack. Thank you, Gabriel. I hope soon I would have an opportunity to do that. Yes, Amanda, I do targeted ads. That's one. That is one strategy that I use, and it is responsible for 1,000 plays right now, 1,000 streams on Spotify. The second second tip for marketing is you have to find people who promote such music. At this moment, for Epic Music, there is many channels that promotes Epic Music. As you know the names: Epic Music VN, Pandora Journey, Epic Music World, Trailer Music World. All these people, they are always willing to accept new music, but it is kind of unfair for me because I actually know these people personally. I've seen them before. I've spoken to them before. I've shared rooms with them. I actually, when I went to Europe, I actually meet all these people and we stayed in a house together. So it's kind of an unfair advantage that I have. But still, it helps to know these people, to build relationships, because these people receive hundreds of tracks per day, each of them saying, hey, promote me, promote me, promote me. So you kind of need to develop a strong relationship with all these promoters. Yeah, Bastin, you're right. There's no official genre for epic music. Even house music could be epic music. You're right. You're absolutely right. And but if you do search on YouTube, it's all our music. If you search on Google, you just type epic music, it's all our music. So you're right, it's not official, but that little tag, that little description or definition has been attributed to us. So yes, I'm very glad for that. So that's why I call myself an epic music composer. What is I saying? Yeah, so promoters, you have to send all your music to all these channels. Somehow, even if you get lucky, it's all about, this is where luck plays a part. If you do spend some time building relationships, it could be hard work, but there's a lot of luck involved. But if you don't even do it, then I guess nothing will happen, right? So you have to try, you have to keep sending music to them, and if they come back with a feedback, that's great, you can work on it. And that's my second tip for marketing. For Hinomaru and my album, what we are planning to do with Where Are the Fruits, we are releasing one single every single month until the release of the album on October. So this is another part where you need to do in order to be some sort successful on Spotify. You have to release music on a regular basis. It's a whole different discussion how Spotify can earn you money. We'll get into it maybe next time. It's a bit too big. But how the algorithms on Spotify works is that you need to continuously publish songs. You need to always do songs. That's how the algorithm works. The more songs you put out there, the more it would kind of snowball and they call it waterfall. So you do one song, and then you generate some play, and then do another song. You would kind of retain those listeners. You do one song every 2 weeks or every month. You do that, and it is highly it's very possible that you will start getting very regular listeners. And you do Facebook ads, and you do promotions, and you pitch to playlists and all these kind of things. It all adds up, and that's the whole strategy with Spotify. You can no longer do one album in 2 years, or one single for a year, and then be quiet for the next 5 years. It doesn't work that way anymore. Spotify encourages musicians to write and write and write. That's how the algorithm works, people. So if you always continue to put in new music, very, very likely that you would somehow get a lot of listeners out of Spotify. That's what Thomas Bergerson is doing. That's what successful epic music composers are doing. They're constantly putting out music, And of course, it's all linked. You know, you can't put music and then not promote it, and you can't promote anything if you don't have music. So always continue to write. Yes. Yes, correct. Bastin, you're right. Um, on YouTube is kind of established, and on Spotify, YouTube Music not yet. But absolutely right. Eventually, we have so many epic music composers right now, and we are all tagging epic music. Right now, if you were to say something else as epic, it doesn't really register in my mind anymore. But yes, Gabriel, first search result is you all, and also on Spotify after Red Wimps, the second Hinomaru is yours. Yeah, so it is starting to look very good for us epic musicians. So keep writing music. A lot of publishers are no longer uploading it on Spotify. I don't know why. There are some publishers who continue to do so, and they are gaining a lot of listeners. Look at Really Slow Motion. They just hit 500,000 monthly listeners. That is numbers that you could quit your day job for. So anyway, I'm not. We're actually done with the stream, and this is just a very short tactics on marketing. If you have any questions, direct, detailed questions, please feel free to ask, and I would surely try to answer them, because my brain is kind of dead already. It's not normal. I don't normally speak this much, so brain no work no more. Amanda, yes. No, but I'm not epic composer. It depends. If you are a composer, it's highly likely that you sound like someone else already. 7 billion people in the world, and there's bound to be somebody who has already done it. If at this point of time in the world, and if you do something new, that's amazing. So you have to find your way. You have to find a way to get it out there. No more sitting down and expect your music to get listeners somehow. Really Slow Motion and Atom Music is big. Yes, Really Slow Motion is huge. Nothing beats Two Steps from Hell. Yes. Real great, just going on. I mean, it's not always that I get to speak about myself, talking about what I do, how I do it. So it's kind of refreshing, also very tiring. Thanks, Aisha. You've been here for the whole 2 hours. That's awesome. I just don't know who. Well, you could always send me stuff, and then we will think about stuff. I know I don't respond to messages very quickly. Streaming is tiring. Well, yes, definitely. First time trying it, and yeah, hope it's okay. I'm probably going to do this for the next 2 singles, and the album. Is there any questions about, how I do stuff? Not really. I mean, I'm not exactly a very busy man. Okay, I'm shooting myself in the foot here. Yes, I do have a lot of things to do. But the main thing about me is I recover very slowly. So let's say, for example, I work on a track, right, for 4 hours straight, and I cannot do anything else after that. Even talking to people, it's very taxing. I think just how I work. Maybe it's also because I've been at home for too long. And yeah, when you compose 4 hours straight on a track, and then after that you're just completely jelly, you're like putty after that. And even if I want to talk to somebody, I find it really difficult. So I avoid social media and I play games. so it's not so it's not that I am really busy. I focus fire my work. So when I wake up, after I shower, I drink some milk and I start work, and I don't stop until maybe for 4 to 5 hours, and that's intense working, and then after that it's all resting time. Even after 2 months, actually I would then forget. I would then forget to reply until somebody yeah, but I do get lots of messages. Sometimes I told myself I need to get on Facebook because it's a must in our industry to make contacts. Exactly, Gabriel. Yes, uh, because I've been through kind of a burnout before. So where I stopped doing music for 2.5 years, so I kind of know how it feels. And if I do feel that that kind of things starting to creep out, I know it's time to take a rest. Like, don't care, no deadlines. Like, don't care the deadlines. You just have to shut off and play games. Because I'm a gamer, I like to play games, so I just focus on playing games. Sometimes I would play the whole day because you just need to switch off for a little bit. Exactly, that's the time after Fire Save Us. That's when I stopped completely because um, I couldn't take doing music because it became a chore, an obligation to do music. Music is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be a hobby that became a career. Yeah, and but it became something that I need to do to get money. So if something that you love gives you hardship, that is when it is time to stop. Yeah, I still remember that part. I totally switched industry, totally focused on something else. And yeah, when everyone says you're so lucky you're able to do something that you love for a living, it is a gift and a curse, because yes, when it is going well, you're super happy when things are paying. You have making a lot of friends, but then there will always be a downtime. Working independently, working as a freelancer, there will always be a time when you will get tired creatively. When you write stuff, when you compose music, it takes a toll. I don't know if you want to believe this, but it takes a toll on your mental capacity and your emotional capacity, because when you write stuff, it takes a bit of yourself into it, and you keep doing it and keep doing it, and you don't know how to recover. That's when you would feel like you feel you just don't want to do it anymore. You just lost the passion. So it is always important to sustain it. You need to know when to spark. You need to know when to light the fire. And what good is a fire if there's wind blowing and it goes out? We have to somehow find ways to maintain it. Build walls around the fire. What am I saying? It's great to hear you. Oh, Angelo, thank you so much. And that's why I can't master. Wait, Gabriel, yes, the fine balance, definitely, especially now during COVID. Oof, it's not easy. You can't get out to recover, right? Aisha, burnout. Maybe that's why I can't master diligence for my work now. I'm feeling it. Yeah, it's a very silent killer. You'll start to feel like you are lazy, that you're unmotivated, and then you will start to feel yourself being attracted to doing menial stuff like watching shows and you know, yeah, sometimes it can get really bad as not eating or eat too much, and it really it's really a silent killer. And then before you know it, you will just start losing interest in what you do. You know, you have to always find time to relax. Double-edged sword, yes, definitely a double-edged sword. um, yeah, I've been there before. I don't want to go through it again. Angelo, it's great to hear you talk. I hope that you find the energy to do more walkthroughs. I hope so. I hope so. Which games are you playing? For now, I'm playing Chivalry. Chivalry, it's like a medieval first-person game. It's fun. And then I have friends. My cousin, I play with my cousin a lot, and one of my best friends, almost every single night. So every night, like maybe 11 p.m., I would play with them. It's a good way to wind down and relax, and to just speak to one another. I play Battlefield 5. We just started playing it. So the story of my literal candle next to me keeps blowing out. Thanks. Yes, you have to find a way to keep it going. I'm seeking help. Yes, if you do realize that you need to seek help, please go for it. There's nothing to be ashamed of, nothing to be proud of as well, you know. But I'm sure you'll be okay, inshallah. Anyway, let's just wrap up, shall we? It's been a nice 2 hours. I really enjoy doing this. I really enjoyed sharing you how I do my track. I wish I could do more, go into more detail on how I do the mixing and everything. But again, I would say most of the time when I'm composing, I don't actually know what I'm doing. And if you ask me to analyze what I do, I find it really hard because there isn't any strategies that I employ, or maybe I'm not aware of it yet. Maybe I need to kind of reflect on it more to share it with you guys. But it's kind of like saying, how do you speak how do you make noise coming out from your mouth? I don't know how to explain it, and it just happened. I hope somehow you would manage to learn something. I'm probably not the best teacher because I don't know how to explain things sometimes. Glad you enjoyed it, man. You find it good. Yes, I do enjoy it for sure. It was fun for you guys, to be with you guys and just talking. Yes, I will do it again for sure for my next single, Atanoa. Okay, I have one last gift for those of you who are here. Would you like to know what gift that is? I would like to play one song from my album just for you guys. Yes, I just want to. No, you're right. I you know, it's the same ingredients, but different people would come up with different stuff. And you ask that person, what do you do? And it's really hard to explain. Oh, thank you, Fabian. Okay, I will play you guys one track. Okay, this track will only be released in October. Okay, so let me just mute everything. I'll play you the first track of the album. I'll just put myself smaller. Hey, so this track is called Sahara. Let me see. Just for you guys. I kind of have to change things a bit because it's too soft. Damn, I really wish I could go into Hinomaru more. Okay, you guys ready? No. Just got back to the stream, perfect timing. No, Bastian, I'm not gonna show that track. That track is my favorite track. So what Bastian is talking about is the Ignis song. It's 8 minutes long. Is it 8 minutes long? 7 minutes long, I can't remember. But it is my favorite track. So not to tease you too much, but it is my favorite track. It is the latest track that I did. And to me, it is probably the best track that I've done before. But that is Ignis. Okay, now I'm gonna show you Sahara. The first track of the album. So let's go. I hope you guys enjoy. Hello. How was that? I love that track so much. I love it. Yeah, I love it so much. What's happening? Oh, okay. Wait, there's so many comments. Lord of the Rings, yes, Aisha. It was one of the primary inspiration for the track. The elves, when the elf soundtrack came out, the choirs, yes, sounds exactly like it, right? Scorching sun, camels. Oh, thank you to your parents, Gabriel. Oh, so nice. I don't know if it fits. Middle Earth had a desert. Yes. Do they have a desert? I don't. Yeah, I don't think so. It's Middle Earth, ma, not Middle East. Indiana Jones. Opening of the Olympics in Middle East. God, is there any? Could ask my publisher. Hey, pitch the shit off this track. Oh, thank you so much. Wait, Stasha said something. What? Do this live. That is actually a dream. I really would love to do it live. I don't know how. I don't know how it would go. How's the logistics? But if someone out there, an angel who would come over and say, "Hey, let's do it live. Don't worry, I'll handle everything." I so want to do that. Oh, thank you, Gabriel. Oh man, that's awesome. Yes, it's a very interesting track. It's kind of, it represents my Middle Eastern. No, I don't have any Middle Eastern background. Just kidding. I just wanted to do something more Arabic because a huge part of my fan base, I got fan base, is actually from Egypt, and Saudi Arabia. A lot of them a lot of people from there listens to my music. I don't know how. Yeah, they it's actually my top 2 most listened country is actually Egypt. So that's why I wanted to do something special to kind of attract them, Egypt, Middle East, yeah. And oh, Angelo, thank you so much. Yeah, it's very EDM inspired actually. And funny thing about this song, I wrote it in 2015. It was named as Canopus last time. Tribute to your yes, definitely. And yeah, I did this track in 2015. So long ago, I composed this track, and then only maybe last year, or yeah, in 2020, I opened up. I did a remake of the entire track. Because last 2015 I didn't have any cool, awesome samples. I don't have any libraries that is good. Also, my skills back then was so it's not that good. Oh yeah, see you, Amanda. Take care. Thank you so much. You're always there for me. Thank you. I'll speak to you soon. Yeah. Yeah, where was I? Yeah, it was written in 2015. I didn't have the. It was a nice song, but it wasn't good enough for me to release it. Until now, yeah, I have the plugins, the sample libraries, the Arabic, the Middle Eastern sample libraries to make it happen. More experience to make it sound how I want it to sound like. So that's why I told you before in the beginning of the stream, when I compose, I actually compose in my brain first before I actually put it into the DAW. Especially for my own music, not for publishers. For my own music, I will compose it in my head, and if it doesn't sound like that, I will not release it. I will not do anything to it. So that's why this album took so long, so freaking long, and I only realized that I have enough skills or expertise to make it sound as how I wanted it to sound. Super like Sahara, yeah. Yeah, so really glad you guys enjoyed that. It's a sneak peek, so you kind of have to listen to the whole live stream to stumble upon it. So I thought it was a nice way to say thank you to you guys. Bastian, yeah, I missed your message. Live epic music concert. Yes, that would be so good. That was, I think, um, I think there was a concert like that when they played Ivan Torrent's stuff, Audio Machine, Immediate Music, everything live. I can't remember when, but it needs to happen more often then, for sure. Yep. Yeah, I actually don't have anything else to share. And I wish I could share the whole album now. But no, I have to be strong and the heart make what am I saying? Brain no work no more. I really hope you guys will like the album because it took so long to get it done. It is me in music basically. Yeah. I've spent lots of money on it, and it's way more than I'm proud to admit, but I don't mind because it is something that I really cherish. There's a lot of sweat going to it, tears. There's some songs in there when I composed it, I actually cried because it was very personal, and I don't know if you can tell which track. Yes, and yeah, I'm looking forward. I'm kind of a bit nervous even to show it to you guys because to me it can never get better, and I just hope other people would see it that way somehow. Yes, you did. I was there when it happened. Yes, my fiance Stasha cried when she listened to one of the songs, and I was there to witness it. And yes, oh yes. Actually, no, it's my pocket. It's not her pocket, Gabriel. That one I cry. Yes, I cry every day. No. I used to cry about the pocket, but it needs to happen. It needs to happen. But yeah, the I think it succeeded in making another person cry as well. The yeah, I mean, because when I'm actually composing it, I actually teared up. I didn't sob, but yeah, it was so emotional that I actually did. I was so surprised. This is fun. We should do this more often, but not with only me talking. It sounds so weird. Yeah, I think yes, it's 10:30. Some of you it's 10:30 p.m. Tomorrow some of you have to work, some of you don't. I think we would call it the end now. For now, we will come back. I could interview you. Yes, you can, if you want to. But do you realize why I've never asked you to do that for me? Do you want to venture a guess on why I did not ask you to do it? Bastian, that's actually a very good idea. Yeah, Bastian gave me a very good idea. Why not, right? To just sit down and just... I want to hear your voice. I haven't heard your voice before for someone who is kind of dear to me. Second day interview. Hey, why not? I'm definitely most comfortable with Stasha around. By the way, Stasha is my fiance. She's here trolling everything. It actually could be quite fun to do the interview. Why not? Hey, very nice. And then we just act as if Stasha is someone very important from the media or something. Put it on the YouTube channel. Why not? Okay, we will talk after this for sure. For sure. Angelo, thank you so much for being here. Actually, you're so nice, and I really would love to talk to you more about guitar stuff. Just to show you my guitars. My little babies. Actually, only one of them is my baby. The other one, the middle one, is an adopted baby. It's a 7-string, and the bass guitar is actually Stasha's. Very important. It would please some of you to know that the album contains 2 songs with really heavy electric guitars and some solos. So stay tuned for that. I really wish I could show the album. I don't want to go, but I think we should call it. And it's really amazing to sit here and explain my work process. It's very nice to know that people are actually interested in it. Yeah, I think we're gonna call it good night. So to all those people who managed to catch it and you're still here, thank you very much, Bastian. Of course, you forever have my gratitude. How do you tune guitars? I'll plug it into the DAW and I will tune it. There's a tuner in Logic. Yeah, so I'll tune it like that. That's how I tune it. 4:30 here in Germany. Oh, well, it's a good time for a nap. Gabriel, thank you so much for being here. You've been here for like 2.5 hours. I really appreciate it. And yeah, you are just amazing as well. And keep doing what you do. How do you how do you tune? Oh, you mean standard E or drop D? Oh, you mean that? Sorry. Okay, so yes, one of my guitar is in drop D. The 7-string is A, B standard. Yeah, the top ones. Sorry, the 7th string is a low B. Aisha, oh, yes, please. It's been said that I put people to sleep when I speak, and sometimes people might see it as a bad thing, but I see it as a blessing. Because I can put people to sleep when you actually need sleep. Some people, most people, actually. Yeah. So, yes. So, thank you so much, everyone. So it seems like 4, 5 of you are here, and we have 6 other people who are quiet and just watching this like stalkers and not saying anything. Thank you to all of you who are watching, who have watched, and probably we'll catch each other soon. Add me on Facebook, talk to me on Facebook. I'll do my best to respond. I don't respond fast because my work involves talking to a lot of people as well on Instagram, not on my personal Instagram for work, on my work Instagram account. So a lot of responding, a lot of emails. So yes, how Salim, oh my goodness, you're still here. Okay, props to Salim. He helped me set everything up. Let me just give you an introduction about Salim. Salim is a crazy composer from Morocco, from Rabat, Morocco. One of my good friends, and he has a very nice potential to become something great. with time. He just Salim just needs time to get there. But do keep your eyes out for Salim and his music. His stuff is amazing, and he helped me set everything up, make sure the audio is coming out fine. So huge thank you to Salim. He's awesome. Yeah, it's very global. I'm kind of collecting a list. Like every country, I have one person that I know. Hopefully, almost did nothing to build this gaming company, dude. That is important. That's very important. You know that. I'm music knows no boundaries. Absolutely, yes. Yes. I mean, Stasha could tell you how company is very important. Sometimes I don't want company, but I do acknowledge that having company is important. Damn it. Okay, guys. Let's speak privately and let's call it a day. Don't need to be modest. Yes, he is awesome. Yeah, so I will catch you guys. Catch you all privately, maybe on Facebook, and yeah, let's talk soon. And really wonderful to have you guys. Really very grateful. I cannot express how grateful I am. Thanks, Bastian. Thank you. Thanks, Salim. Thanks, Gabriel. Thanks, Aisha. Thanks, Amanda. Thanks, Tasha. Take care. Take care. Fabian is still here. Fabian is from Switzerland, and another one who has a lot of potential. He just has to unlock it, and it comes with time, Fabian. Keep your eyes for Sinisius. Yes. Keep doing what you do, Fabian. You'll be fine. Angelo as well, another kick-ass guitarist. I'm just saying hello and saying goodbye to every one of you. Really appreciate it. Thank you. I'll just tell a fast-looking. You're here. I don't exactly know who you are, but thank you so much for being here. Seriously. And finally telling us that you're there. Yes. Thank you, guys. Really, a lot. Really means a lot to me. Okay. Take care, everyone. I'm gonna end the stream now. Goodbye. Have a good night, good evening, good morning. Thank you all so much. Bye bye.